Guys, welcome back to another episode of the Ike MMA podcast or the Ike MMA show, whichever you like to call it. And I'm joined in studio with a very, very well-known, successful Muay Thai kickboxer, Nathan Bendon, hailing from Birmingham, I think.
Yeah, Birmingham. That's it.
Nathan, how are you?
Good, mate. Good. We've been very active in the gym this week, especially. I've got seven lads fighting on Saturday at a show in Birmingham in the SKS show. I've got lads fighting for British title.
Mhm.
Having their first A class fight. I've got guys that are in good domestic fights. We've we've been full steam ahead. So yeah, been busy, mate. Been busy.
Seven?
Seven lads. Yeah, seven lads.
No, I mean your gym because I checked on that's the gym that you own and that you run.
Yeah. So I own a gym called Dominate in it's in West Brom,
Mhm.
which we run classes for juniors and for adults for any level, beginners to fighters. So
No, that's uh that's awesome because when you say seven guys, like that's a lot of people to manage, a lot of
a
fights to
big
keep
night,
from.
isn't it? But it's like the end of the
Yes.
year, isn't it? I was meant to have three fight on a show last week. We two of their opponents pulled out, so we had one on. But it's the end of the year, and they all want to get fighting. I've been active obviously this year, so they haven't had the opportunities to fight as much. I think they've had three fights this year. Between like each. So at the end of the year, it's important that they get a good one out. And just test themselves, and then they can rest for Christmas back on it next year. So it's important to
And
have them.
you yourself, you recently just came off a big win at the Muay Thai Grand Prix,
Yeah,
Road to One Championship. And I
yeah,
was even listening to an interview, well, watching an interview, a brief clip of it that you had just about a month ago before that big night. And you're saying that you've got no idea why one championship haven't snapped you up already. Everyone,
yeah,
no, I like I like what you said. But so far, man, so good. You seem to be they say talk is cheap, but you're actually showing people that you're doing it, you
yeah,
know.
yeah. I'm delivering on. Like I have been in talks with one championship with various people previously. So, which I said on the interview before, like there's been a couple of options for me to get onto one championship, but I do believe now this road to one, these domestic fights, these good fights like Coakley, George Mouzakitis, it's this was my path, and it's on a better contract. It's the build up to the road one. You're really earning it because there's people there that also deserve to be on it. You're fighting these to get the contract, so it's a good step for me to do it.
Look, it's the first time we actually interviewing you finally. Um, so since first time of me speaking with you, something I do with all the athletes that I speak to and the other guys who's affiliated with combat sports in one way or the other. So can you take me back to like just to the early days and how did you get into combat sports and more in particular, what led you to boxing and then eventually to Muay Thai?
Yeah. So the short story is basically I started training at the local gym from school. Started getting quite good at it quite quickly. Just enjoyed it, progressed, and then I fought, enjoyed that, and then every time it was a routine type situation where I'd go to school, I'd go training, then it would be a show would come up. Do you want to fight? Yeah, I want to fight, and then I ended up being like one of the local lads on the show all the time. And I was winning. I was having good fights. I was doing well. I had a lot of good domestic fights and got to number three in the UK at the time. I think it was. Then I got to number one, pushed through to number one. Was training with Henry Clemson at Corfit, and then I moved to Dean James at PCS with Tony Myers and the PCS boys there. Great team. We got to number one. And then boxing, I was doing boxing on a Wednesday because we didn't train on a Wednesday, so I just went to the local boxing gym. Started training there. The boxing coach offered me a few white collar fights, just just to have a go. Really, like I like fighting. It's not
Mhm.
like I've never been in the ring before. I'm at a high level already. So it was white collar where it was like unlicensed. So it wasn't head guards against someone that's done 8 weeks training. It was, it might be against an ex pro that's now come back down to a lower level, at the end of his career, or it might be, someone that's had a few fights and wants to turn pro. They do the unlicensed boxing. So I did a few of them. I had 8 of them, but the problem was I was knocking them all out. It was a bit of a it was a very like one sided match, to be honest. So they offered me a pro boxing license. They said if you want, you can turn over to professional. And at this point now, they're saying I can offer you a fight a week. You'll get paid like 1,200 quid minimum for 4 rounders, fight a week. I was like, absolutely, I'll do that. But if you have a pro boxing license, you can't then fight Muay Thai. Like
I see.
it's not allowed. You've got to be signed to them. So I did that for a bit. It was 7 pro boxing fights. So fought some good lads, like some good prospects coming through. No one had ever like at the top level, but lads that now like Flowing Mark, who's just won a belt. He's undefeated. There's Conor Walker, who's had title fights. He's got the millions. I think he's good level lad. Eric Aspinall, who was like 6-0 when I fought him, beat him. Like I had some good fights, had some good tests, and it was fun. But I wasn't a boxer. I didn't love it. I didn't put my dedication into it I was where I did with Thai. I didn't devote my life to it, you know. And I just did it, for the money really. Just at the time, it changed my situation. I bought a house. I had my first daughter at the time. I got married. It helped.
Mhm.
It helped my financial situation, and I wasn't getting hurt. I was just getting punched, which sounds odd, but I'm not getting kicked in the knee and elbowed in my face.
Yeah, of
So
course, yeah, yeah.
it helps, and you can fight every week. Literally, you can fight every week. It's ridiculous. So I did that for a bit, and then I went to Fourth Dimension because I was still dabbling in the Thai. I obviously run a Thai boxing gym, so I was still training, still padding people, and I like to spar. I like to go and see the guys at Fourth Dimension in Nottingham. Um, so I was training there, and the coach Wayne Kirk said to me, "You don't want to be a boxer. Like you're not gonna make it in boxing. You don't love it. You've got a passion in Thai. You're very good at it. You can leave a legacy and actually like do something with it. There's one championship that are offering more money. There's opportunity for you to get there. You are that level. Like, but you need to set the boxing off. Stop doing it just for the financial gains and actually, do something that you're passionate about. And like I'm 30 soon. So if I would have kept doing boxing and like not left it and then wanted to do Thai after at 33, 34. Like how further can you go? So I had to make a decision. I was 29. I become, a mature adult. I'm in my physical peak. I need to do something that's important to me. So I went back to Muay Thai. Since I've done the Muay Thai now, I've had 6 fights in 18 months, won all of them,
Mm.
against good opposition, high level, world class fighters at the end of the day. So I'm obviously on the up.
Yeah, I saw your record 6-0. So far, it's been very successful since you made that
Yeah,
crossover. Um,
yeah,
but okay, you went to Muay Thai from boxing, but and you say it's in comparison to mixed martial arts, not getting hurt. Um, but given the option to go maybe instead of going to Muay Thai, instead of going into Muay Thai, if you're given the opportunity to go into mixed martial arts, would you have taken it? I mean, would you say that probably mixed martial arts gets a lot more attention when you've got organizations like the UFC and Bellator and
yeah,
Cage Warriors
yeah.
and stuff?
Maybe MMA would have been a better route for me rather than boxing. It was just what was accessible to me at the time, you know. But now, like at that time, if I would have not done the boxing and just concentrated on the grappling, the MMA, the jiu-jitsu, the wrestling, that sort of stuff, maybe I could have gone to MMA and done that at a high level. But right now, at this time in moment, I can't dedicate enough time to the wrestling without neglecting my Thai boxing. I
Mm.
can't neglect my Thai boxing now because I have these fights coming up. I have good opposition that I'm competing against. I need to be in the best form of myself to beat these guys at the end of the day. So yeah, maybe you're right. Yeah, maybe I should have done the grappling, the MMA, and the jiu-jitsu and stuff. And I've done a bit. I've had a dabble here and there. I'm not. I'm definitely not a jiu-jitsu guy, but I've had a go, and I did really enjoy it. But really, like, if it was accessible to me, yeah, maybe I would have done that. Mm.
No, no, so I'm glad you did cross over to Muay Thai, because each one has its benefits and disadvantages.
Yeah,
I'm really glad you went to Moscow because you're clearly doing really well there. You're excelling there. You're so far, you're proving to be extremely
yeah.
successful
It was a
with
good
mixed.
choice, wasn't it?
Absolutely, with
Yeah,
mixed martial arts, it's already in the title. Mixed martial arts, so there's all the martial arts almost all combined together, and can use that
yeah,
to use that when you're in the ring or the octagon to compete against your opponent. But of
yeah.
course, there's far more to learn, far more to master, and far more
I did.
to get good at.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I was gonna ask you probably if you'd done the interview earlier, but you were so busy at the time. What was it like beating George, just being that one step closer to getting to the one championship?
You know what it is with George. Like George is a good lad. Like
Mm,
the fight come up years ago for George. Like they were trying to get the fight, but I was number one in the UK. I don't know what he was ranked at. I think he was like three or four. But like I was levels above him. I wanted international opponents. I wanted titles. I didn't want to fight George Mouzakitis, who's a young, hungry, hard fight that's coming up on the way up and wants to take what I've worked for. I wasn't allowing that, so we didn't take the fight. I was on to bigger and better things at the time. Um, but when the fight obviously come now, like I
yeah.
expected it to come because obviously the side of the tournament that was drawn on, I always knew that I'd fight George, or hoped I'd fight George because he didn't get that opportunity then. He was young as well. He's young now. I think he's like 23 or something. He's young, isn't he? So
Mm, yeah.
like he he deserved that fight now. Really, if he's in this tournament and he has been picked for the tournament, he can have it. But people like bet against me. So like there was wagers on it. So I've heard there was wagers on it. People like put money down for George to beat me, and obviously they lost their money. Like, but I don't understand how someone can actually believe. Like, no disrespect to George Mouzakitis, he will beat most people. But I don't actually understand how people can believe that he was going to beat me. Look at what I've done. Look at who I've fought. How many times I've been in the ring. Look at my last five fights. Even look at my last four before that. Before the one before. Like, look at what I've done. How can you imagine that George is going to beat me? He's very good, but I am world level at the end of the day,
Mm,
and there is a difference. The experience, on experience alone, he hasn't fought Thai in 3 years. He's had a couple of MMA fights. He has one fight against an Italian that caused him an awkward night because he was an unconventional style, which I think it caused most people. But he beat him comfortably. But I don't see how people like would have thought he would have beat me. So why people lost money on me, I would never know on him. But it was a fun fight, but it was also a nice one for me to put the stamp on it and say, if I would have fought you 5 years ago, 6 years ago, whenever you asked for the fight previously as well, that is what would have happened. I'm too mature. He's
uh,
young. I'm too mature. I'm too experienced. I'm at the other end of his career. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the
yeah,
day,
yeah, of
I've
course,
done
yeah.
all his learning that he's got to do. How you can bet against me? You off your head?
I looked at your bike. You are a champion. Is it in should I say, is it various Muay Thai promoters or
Yeah,
so?
yeah. So I've got a WBC world title. I hold the I held the international as well. WBC international. I've got British titles and I've got European titles, all in Muay Thai. So I've got the credentials and I've got the belts and the trophies to show it.
I've seen a pic of you on Instagram. The belt, the
All the
medals.
belts, I'm having them all. I'll have that one championship one as well.
Uh,
That looked nice on it, wasn't it?
sorry, you said that people bet their monthly salary on you
No,
losing the.
no, I don't think it was their monthly salary, but there was quite a big wager on it. I don't know exactly how much, but
Ah,
I
okay.
know a few people bet against me to win. Which
I, okay.
you
I
know,
was gonna.
like, and they'll
Yeah.
probably do the same with Coakley. Coakley's a fan favorite, isn't he?
Mm,
He's got that Irish blood. He's very good. He's very good. But I'll beat him, and like I'm kind of just in the background at the moment because obviously Coakley's had the stoppage. He had the women that he stopped him. Looked very good. I've won my last two fights on split decisions, which I can't understand because like how are, how are how are they getting it so wrong? The judging system isn't usual because it's one championship judging, like scoring. It's I'm getting it on split decisions at the moment, which he's got his last fight on the stoppage. So if you look on paper, he looks like the favourite to win it, and he can have it the favourite. Just like some people have George to beat me, it'll be the same outcome. It'll be madness for them to think that they're going to beat me, and it's just because I'm at that stage of my career. It's no disrespect to anyone. I've just done everything that they're doing. You know,
you're
Coakley is the match of me because he's done it all as well. You know, but when I get in there, I will show him that I've done more.
you're still, no matter how much training or experience they have, you are still just that one step above.
And that's what it is. And that's what it is.
Um, God, it's just slipped my mind. So many questions I've had in my mind to ask you
No
in the
problem.
months leading up to
I
this
know it's been a
interview.
while. Yeah, sorry, it's been hard to get hold of me. I've been busy, busy,
Sometimes
busy.
you guys just let me say this, and you might say it's a bit random. It's just like you guys are so difficult to get hold of. Like you want to sit you down, tie you to a chair, and then do the interview. Sorry, that sounded so random.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. My missus finds it hard to get a conversation with me. Never mind interviews. It's mental. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, making weight. Now there was some controversy recently in the mainstream, let's say on YouTube, for mixed martial arts. I mean that there was the issue with Alex Pereira after fighting Izzy. Then he was at weight, but then
20 kilo was it? Was it? Did he put on
like
20 kilo?
like his body has absorbed more weight one way or the other, but his weight went up bizarrely
Yeah,
so quickly. Now, for yourself as a combat sports athlete, have you ever struggled to make weight for a fight?
yeah, of course. Like when I was younger, I wasn't a professional athlete at all. I was like 18, 19, and well, really from 18 to 25, probably 24. I was just out of shape, drinking, eating, doing whatever I wanted. I only really fought once or twice a year because it was so hard to make the weight. It was graft. It was horrible, and it was because in between camps I wasn't an athlete. Now the case is totally different. I've put my life to this now for the last 2 years, which I've had 6 fights in 18 months. Before I was
Mhm.
having one or two max fights. Do you know what I mean? A year. So like I've doubled my work ethic, and it's because I keep my weight good. I'm like I don't go above 72 kilo, and I'm at this now I'm fighting at 66. It's easy, I wake up on weight.
Mm.
It's fine. I don't have to bath. I don't have to sauna or anything. Just deplete carbs, and I've got a great nutritionist in Peter Miller, Condition Nutrition. He's like working with a top load of top athletes now all around the world, and we make the weight easy. And I'm obviously accountable for making the weight, but with Pete, with the nutritionist, all like he does it all for me. As long as I do as I'm told and eat what I'm told, I have no issues, and I always trust the process. Like if I think I'm a bit heavier, or I didn't get as many carbs as I needed, or whatever it is, we have a conversation. He's a good friend of mine now as well. So we have a conversation, and it always works out brilliant. Weight isn't an issue for me at the moment.
So,
Previously,
uh,
graph,
so even after a fight, if you're say in that part of the year, or you just have that sort of 2, 3, 4 month, 5 month window ahead of you that you're not going to be competing, you will still keep a close eye on your diet and your training and your overall nutrition. You won't go as in just binge here and
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Uh,
So now it's obviously like I say, I've been very active. I've only had like 2 or 3 months out where I haven't had a fight. So a camp's 10 weeks, So I've probably had like 3, 4 weeks where I'm not training and I can eat what I want. Even then, I know if I be a pig, it's going to be hard work. So I just keep it clean, I keep it safe, and I don't deprive myself of anything, but I also don't gorge and get a mess.
hmm. I suppose that there's lots of logic and common sense in that because of what you do, you have to compete at a particular weight. So to satisfy that condition, it would help you to stick close to the weight class that you normally
Yeah,
compete in. I mean,
yeah,
someone like Paddy Pimblett, he does this thing whereby he's slim and in shape for his fight. Then before you know, and practically the next day, he's ballooned again because he's just been eating loads of McDonald's and lots of junk food and
yeah. It's
drinking loads.
ridiculous. How old is Paddy? Do you know?
Paddy should be about 26, 27, 28, around that
Oh,
sort
so
of
he's
age, yeah.
old enough to know then, yeah. So he's old enough to know. Like when I was younger, I was doing that like because I was young, I was stupid, really. He's stupid. Like he says like, oh, I'd rather be happy than have abs. And like if that makes him happy, then you can't blame him. Also, he's become a little bit famous from that alone, hasn't he? He's very famous anyway, but that's like definitely an aspect of his fame, like how big he goes up to. So I'm not saying if he didn't go that big, he wouldn't be as famous, but it's a part of it, isn't it? People look at him because of his weight gain, surely.
Yeah,
So
and it looks quite ridiculous.
yeah, but fair play. Like he always makes weight, doesn't he? He doesn't.
Yes,
He
yeah.
doesn't. He does the work. But how much easier and how much more would he enjoy training if he didn't have to cut weight? Surely all his camps are like cutting weight. Surely if he's got to lose 40 pounds for a camp, it's a lot of weight. I've done it. I've done it. And I didn't want to do that anymore, and I wanted to enjoy fighting and enjoy training rather than it all just being about running in sweatsuits and sweating.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think fair play if you can keep doing it, mate. Enjoy it.
I know you touched on the your recent fight with George, but I was gonna ask on the other side, how are you feeling just about the upcoming, as in just that next step before
The
you seal
final.
that it with Craig Coakley? How do you feel about that matchup?
I think it's a great fight. We were scheduled to fight previously. We fought on the Yoko shows under Brian Calder's promotion. Together a lot. Like he's always come over to the UK, and he's built a big fan base here. People know him, so it would be someone that I would like to fight. Um, it's a perfect final though, isn't it? If you think about it, if you would have had like the Italian and Natty Dodds, like yeah, it's cool. Or like if you would have had even worse, if you would have had the Italian or the French and then the Swedish lad Kim Falk, like it doesn't mean any UK lads are going to the one and do it. Like we're not building UK Muay Thai. Do you know what I mean? And I know Coakley's Irish, but he does like he has UK fans and the UK know him. Do you know what I mean? So it's like it is a part of it's a part of the whole process. But the fight with Coakley will be amazing. I'm gonna really enjoy it. Like I'll probably enjoy watching it after. While I'm in there, it will probably be horrible, and it'll be horrible for me, but it'll be
Yeah.
horrible for him. And he knows that as well. He knows he's in for a hard night, just like I do. We're both not idiots. We're both at the top of the tree, and I do believe if me and Coakley fought each other 10 times, I think the results would be different. I think we might get a few each. but I just have to make sure I beat him on that night, and get that one championship contract and change my life at the end of the day. And I will do that.
I may have missed this some on Instagram or YouTube or the MTGP website, but have they decided on the venue or which where in the UK it's going to be?
The dates we're having a bit of issues with it at the moment because Coakley's got a baby due
Ah,
and
okay.
I've got a holiday booked. Um, so we're trying to agree a date. We're hoping it's April, but his baby's due in March, and it could be a difficult time for him to train for him, being camp. But I'll wait. I'm not. I'm not in a rush. I will wait. I would do it, as soon as we can, ideally. But if I have to wait, I will. I obviously won't fight beforehand. I'll just make sure I'm, 100% for Coakley. It could be in Ireland. It could be in Dublin, I believe, depending on venues and dates. And why not? Why not? Coakley's come over here and fought, you know, UK lads, foreigners. He fought sing that like he's fought a lot of people in the UK. Let him fight in Dublin. I'm happy to go to Dublin and fight him. I'd love Ireland. It's a great place to go, and then I can get Irish fans as well. He's got a load of UK fans because he fights on UK soil a lot.
Yes,
Let me
yeah,
let me
yeah.
go over there and showcase you what I can do as well. You
Hmm.
know, so I'm
No, of
happy to do it
course.
now.
Um, Now this might be a bit controversial, but I wanted to touch on the bit of the beef that you had earlier this year with Nico
Yeah,
Carillo.
yeah, Nico Carrillo. Yeah,
That Carillo Italian Scottish or Scottish Italian?
not sure. He's Scottish though.
Oh
I don't
yeah.
know what. I don't know what else.
So what happened? You guys are supposed to fight, and I think, well, based this, well, I read, I think his video and then your video, I think he said that you pulled out, he accused you of
Yeah,
being a coward, then you actually came back and said, kind of told him to just be careful what you say. You even said it's personal now.
yeah. So what had happened was done a camp. We were signed to fight each other for a WBC World Title that I was defending. He was very deserving of the fight. He's fought a lot of good lads, knocked a load of good lads out at the time. He's next in line really. So in camp, I got a grade 3 tear in my MCL in my knee. I tried to train around it, got a load of physio, I went to get cortisone injections, had the MRI scans, obviously. I've done what I can, but like when you're at a point where you can't even move around the ring and be safe, and
Yeah.
you're defending your belt against someone that's going to be a very hard night. Like, is it worth doing? Um, it took a long time to accept the fact that I wasn't going to be able to do the fight. So, contacted the promoter, told him 4 weeks out. I told him a month out. I said, "Listen, I can't fight Carrillo." I kept him in the know as well. The month Prix, I did it 8 weeks out, 7 weeks out, something like that. Told him I'm injured. I'm getting all this done now. Hopefully we'll be okay. Told him a month out. I just can't do the fight. I'm too injured to do it. Gave him notice so then he can get another opponent. Because obviously he's training. I don't want to leave it to the week of the fight. I had to accept it. It wasn't easy to pull out because there'd been a lot of social media back and forth. Saying how we're going to beat each other, and there was a lot of trash talk. Everyone was very excited about the fight. It was a big, big occasion. So it wasn't easy to pull out. So when I when I finally did, he basically said I was scared, like it was fear. He would have knocked me out anyway, and and he's basically said I was feared, like you know, he's saying I wasn't injured. My reason wasn't genuine, and I was scared of him. So I had to then because he did an interview with Muay Thai Hub. He put up an Instagram post. He went to town on it. I just like, but you know what? Again, he's young, isn't he? He's gonna be immature and childish about these things. He's gonna, try and use fuel to the fire, and he's gonna try and build his name up. And if that's the way he wants to go about it, that's fine. But I'm not just gonna lie down and accept it. So I did a video back just explaining all the my issues and my reasoning, and I told him that like it wasn't personal, like the fight wasn't personal, and the injury and pulling out and like wasting your time isn't personal, but your response is personal, and now you've made it personal. So like you've gone beyond the professional realms, and you've acted like an absolute prat. And I ain't scared of you. Fear isn't a factor. Well, how would I be scared of? Like, there's a referee. I train hard. I'm one of the best in the world at what I do. What am I going to be scared of? What's the worst that can happen to me? I can get knocked out. That's it's not the end of the world. But fear is definitely not a factor. So I just basically told him that, you know, you're a prat. And you should shut your mouth, and I'll see you around.
I think maybe he had a lot riding on the fight for that fight to take place. Um,
Well, the
but
thing
who
was,
knows?
he was saying that he was riddled with injuries as well. He had a bad hand, a bad back, bad leg, or whatever.
Yeah.
But and they talked about pulling out, but they wasn't going to pull out because it was a big fight. Blah blah blah. So like he had a lot to gain. He did have a lot to gain. And if he would have lost to me, which he would have, if he would have lost, it's like, well, you fought Nathan Bendon, you fought the current WBC world champion, and you come up short, and there's no shame in that. Like he had everything to gain. So it was probably a kick in the balls for him. But at the end of the day, you made yourself look like an idiot. And a lot of people messaged me and probably messaged him because he did kind of quiet down, didn't he? He stopped posting and told him like, listen, pull your socks up, mate. You're acting like a child. So that's what
Mm.
happened.
Mm. I can see that when I look at your socials, you what maybe unless if it's a thing, a culture in the Muay Thai sport, it's at least over here in the UK and in Ireland, trash talking on the Muay Thai scene isn't so much of a done thing or a custom in comparison to, let's say, mixed martial arts, is it?
No, but that's probably the problem, isn't it? Because if you think about it, me and Nico had the conversations, prior to the injury, where we were saying, I'm gonna batter you, I'm gonna knock you out, and it was clear that we were both didn't like each other. Like, not didn't I wouldn't say I didn't like him at the time. I just thought, like, I am going to beat you. I'm going to show everyone that I'm going to batter you. Like, I do want to knock you out because you're dangerous, but also you're kind of trying to take what I'm working for, and I'm not going to
Mm.
allow that. And he felt the same. He felt like he was going to propel his career from beating me, and he wanted to come. He knocked a load of people out previously. Won a world title. He believed that he could you know, get in there and win the WBC as well. And because that opportunity got taken away from him, it it inspired even more. So because of the trash talking, it sold tickets. Like people wanted to see it, And
Of
if
course, yeah.
if we do fight eventually, depending on what happens in our careers, but if we eventually fight, who wouldn't want to see that? you know. And the only reason why they do want to see it is because of the talk that we've had, the arguments and stuff.
So you're saying about Nico, yeah, understandably that back and forth and and insulting, just adding fuel to the fire would get a lot more attention, eyes on the
Yeah,
event. So it's understandable why people may possibly could have liked and probably would have excited them more hearing how you took it personally.
yeah, they want to see the result, don't they? After that's the thing.
Yeah.
Want to see how it goes. So that sales tickets, trash talking, definitely. But Muay Thai, it does lack it because obviously it's Thailand. It's their national sport. That's where most Muay Thai is done. It's not like that.
You'd still be happy to go one on one with him, even if it's within a car park, as you said.
Yeah, you know what it was? It was, I was very upset at the time. Obviously,
Mm.
I was upset that I had to pull out. I was injured. I lost a lot of money on the fight itself, tickets, purse. And then I've got some 23-year-old telling me that, I'm scared. I'm an idiot. They're like, bro, are you mad? Like you, I'm not being funny, but I'm not just a tall boxer. I'm a grown ass man, and I'll slap the head off you.
Mm.
I'm not a donut. So watch your mouth. But my emotions, my feelings are different now. I'm not emotionally invested. I'm not upset about it anymore. I am the bigger man of, let it go. But I'm sure I'll see him at the show. And how it goes is obviously how it goes. But
Don't be
I
surprised. There are
can't,
people even older than yourself. They got kids and they've got kids. They're happily married and settled down. They still talk like an adolescent teenager. And
that's
they
what
say,
I mean.
no, no, I understand, and that's good. You're above that. You know more than that, which is good. Which in combat sports, okay, so it doesn't happen so much in Muay Thai, but in other fields such as mixed martial arts and even in boxing, that's really rare to find.
Yeah, but like I say, I'm a man at the end of the day. But I ain't an idiot, and you can't talk to me and treat me like a child because I won't wear it at the end of the day. That's what I'm saying.
Um, Look, so just gradually to wrap things up, what are I mean, the road to one championship, you nearly got that in the bag now. But I mean, after that, beyond that, you already running and you own and run your own gym. You're going to be overseeing seven fighters. This coming weekend, that's seven fights.
Yeah,
So clearly you already achieved some major milestones. Um, but I mean, beyond that, what other future prospects do you want to achieve?
I want to perform on the global platform. I want to get to one championship. I want to show the elite lads on one championship what I can do. I want to compete at that level. I don't just want to fight unknown good lads. People like you beat a lad that's had a load of good wins and hard to beat, and because no one knows them, you don't really get the recognition or the credit for it. It's
Mm,
on one championship. They're like superstars. They're like celebrities almost, aren't they? You
mm.
beat these lads, your name's up there, and that's my short term goal. I would say, it's not going to take me long to do that. By the end of next year, I hope to be competing on one, and I'm putting my name in those lights. After that, it would be keep my gym busy, have good fighters, produce top level lads from there, pass on what I'm doing as well and inspire others. Do some seminars and travel the world a little bit and show people what I bring to the table and be a household name
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
end of the day. That's my long term goal. I want to be like a Liam Harrison. I want to be like a Sanchai or I want to be remembered at the end of the day. And it's all in touching distance, really.
Mm. You mentioned that sometimes you may fight a particular fighter and maybe you don't get the recognition that you deserve because maybe the other guy that you fought isn't well known. And I have to
Yeah,
say that kind of touches onto the mainstream media thing for me. It was a pet peeve of mine that when I look at the whole picture of combat sports, um, if you have an organization or promoter such as the UFC, if they've got because they're the UFC, if they've got a card on this Friday, Saturday, even Sunday night, um, if it's not a good card, fine. But you'll see that so many people tuned in to watch that fight card. We're gonna have
yeah,
another promoter, so maybe it's PFL One Championship or even Bellator. Their fight card was amazing. The main event, the co-main event, was a really entertaining fight. I mean, I've seen some fights I've had to rewind it back several times just to receive a particular move or defense or whatever it was.
yeah,
But I loved what I saw. It was really entertaining. But just because it's the promoter or even the fighter it doesn't have that name value, that name power, you will rarely or barely hear their name in the mainstream media, and it's really unfair. It's very
yeah,
unfair.
exactly. And it is like that, isn't it? Like you're fighting top level opponents, and they're the people that you get matched with at the end of the day. Like I can't fight Conor McGregor, can I? Because he's on a UFC superstar. I'm not in the UFC. I can't fight Nungo because I'm not in one championship. But these when you get on these platforms, then you can obviously make the name in that platform. So whatever's offered to me is what I'll take. And if it's going to build my career and put me as a household name, and these fights are like in France now. I fought so many French people; they would definitely know my name. Italians, I fought about 10 of them. They will know me. I've fought like the best around the world. They will know me. But one championship, when you fight these boys, even like I don't know, the Ukrainians, they know the French on the show. Do you know what I mean? They know the Thais, obviously, they know the UK lads. They know everyone because it's so popular. That will be me. I'll be the UK lad on there that's smashing it. And all the UK lads would even like would definitely be, supporting me because, I'm part of them and I'm doing what I want to be doing and at a level.
Look, it is. I'm not going to keep you much longer. But before I let you go, is there anyone or any organizations you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, man. So I've got to be. So thank you for Booster Fight Gear who sponsor me and sponsor the gym and kick me out all the time. They're amazing. Booster Fight Wear as well is it's legit stuff. It's top tier. Obviously Dominate where I coach and train. I have all my lads that come in for sparring and help me. It's not just done by myself. Peter Miller, who's obviously my nutritionist, is great. Condition nutrition. He's working with a lot of top athletes, a lot of lads on one championship now. UFC superstars. He's doing a lot of good things with good athletes, and no one ever misses weight. So have a little look at him. But the main two people that I need to really talk about is John Whitehouse and Rob Peacock. Now these are two people that pad me most days, spar me, give me game plans, make sure I'm doing the right stuff. Organise my training for me, get sparring partners in. They are the reason why I'm doing it. They are making my life possible at the moment. Now, one's a school teacher, and one does recruitment. One's like he does recruitment for companies. It's so the but no one knows them. Everyone just thinks Nathan Bendon fights for his own gym, and he does it all by himself. That really isn't the case. John Whitehouse and Rob Peacock are making my life possible. So have a look at them as well because they are gangsters. Let me tell you. And if you want to be, at the sort of level that I'm at, you need to train with these sort of people,
Mm.
and they deserve the recognition that I'm getting. Why can't John and Rob go and do seminars somewhere? You know what I mean? It's not me by myself. These are making my life possible. So thank you, John and Rob, gangsters. Love you.
Please send me all their names and I'll link it all in the bio or the comment section, both for YouTube and on
Wicked.
Instagram
Appreciate that.
when I'm promoting the episode. So guys, thank you Nathan for coming on. And
No
guys,
problem.
if you
Thank you
enjoyed the
for having me.
episode, please don't forget to leave a like and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. You can catch the episode also on iTunes, Spotify, and on Google Podcasts. Nathan, we'll definitely have to get you back on the show very
Wicked,
soon.
mate. When I'm at one, you'll have to speak to my agent, though, yeah?
Ah, yeah. Okay.
We'll set it up.
More than
Set it up
like,
for you.
yes, yes. Have a good night, man. Thank you again. Thank you so
All right.
much.
Thank you, bro.
Take
See ya.
care.